Hello, this is topic 1-2. We're talking about areas of regular triangles and a series of other lessons on areas of regular shapes. So first let's go off of parts of a triangle. Well, this is the side. We all know that. This dot, that would be the center. That's pretty easy to pick out. Now, if we go from the center to a vertex, we call that a radius. Just as if I had drawn a circle around my triangle, and this would go to the end of the circle. So we call that a radius. And this segment right here that goes from the center to a right angle, we call our apothem. Okay. Now the apothem is an important part of what we're doing for the next few lessons. So you need to know that the apothem is from the center to a right angle. In a regular shape, it's going to also bisect this side. So here, the radius is a segment connecting the center to a corner of a polygon. The apothem is from the center perpendicular to the side at the midpoint. In case you forget, here are the two terms. Now the reason we need the apothem is for our formula. The area of any regular polygon is 1/2 of the perimeter times the apothem. Let's go ahead and find the area of this equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangles are regular triangles, so we can use the method. Well, the side of this is 18, and we know that this angle right here is 60 degrees. So we're looking, and so this is 60, which means that this is going to be cut in half. So this is 30 degrees. So that is also 60. And we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Well, each side of this 30, 60, 90 triangle would be 9. And so we look at this, and this is the long leg. I need to find the short leg. Well, on a 30, 60, 90, just as a point of reference, we have x, 2x, and x on the square root of 3. So that means 9 is x on the square root of 3. So we divide both sides by the square root of 3. Which essentially, this becomes 3 on the square root of 3. The simplest way to talk about it is that you divide this top number by 3 and attach the square root of 3. I can go more in depth if you need me to in class, but this is essentially what we're working with. So our apothem is 3 on the square root of 3. We also know our perimeter. Well, our perimeter is 18. We have 3 of these sides. So 3 times 18 is 54. So we have 1/2 times 54 times 3 on the square root of 3. Now, for right now, I'm going to ignore the square root of 3. And if I do 1/2 times 54 times 3, that gives me 81. And the square root of 3 just kind of goes to the back. And so our area would be 81 on the square root of 3. Now, I want you to keep your answers in this square root of 3 format. You go ahead and type it in with the square root of 3 and you get a decimal. We'll go ahead and accept the answer is correct, but you may lose a point or two for not having it in the proper form. Well, now that we've done one example, let's go ahead and have a look at a second example. We want to find the area of our regular triangle. Now, in all regular triangles, this will be 30. So that means that we're dealing with x, 2x, and x on the square root of 3. So this is 8. That means that this is 4, which means that this is 4 on the square root of 3. Now, if half is 4 on the square root of 3, then the whole side would be 8 on the square root of 3. So, what we have now is we have labeled all the parts that we need. So first off, we need our perimeter. What would be 8 on the square root of 3 times 3 equals 24 on the square root of 3. Our apothem is just 4. And now we need 1/2 the perimeter times the apothem. So 1/2 times 24 on the square root of 3 times 4. Again, we're going to ignore the square root of 3 and we're going to multiply our regular numbers. And we get 48 on the square root of 3. Well, that was fairly easy. Let's go ahead and go to example number 3. Here, they didn't give us a side, they gave us the whole perimeter. Well, I know that these 3 are equal. So if I do 60 over 3 divided by 3, I'll get that each side is 20 on the square root of 3, which means that this is 10 on the square root of 3. So 10 on the square root of 3 equals x on the square root of 3. Divide both sides by the square root of 3. And I get that x must equal 10. So my perimeter is 60 on the square root of 3. My apothem is 10. So I do 1/2 times 60 square root of 3 times 10. Again, we ignore the square root of 3 for right now. And we get 300 on the square root of 3. So far all we've done is given a side, given the radius, and given the perimeter. Let's go ahead and take a look at example number 4. Here they've told us the apothem. And they've said the apothem is 2. Well, if the apothem is 2, that means that this leg is 2 on the square root of 3. So the whole side is 4 on the square root of 3. So our perimeter is 4, 8, 12 on the square root of 3. I did that by 4 times 3 is 12. My apothem is 2. So 1/2 times 12 on the square root of 3 times 2. Well, 1/2 times 2 will cancel each other out, leaving you with just 12 on the square root of 3. So here our area matches our perimeter. Doesn't happen very often, but it does on occasion. So let's go ahead and look at example number 5. We have a regular triangle with a radius of 10. So 2x, x, so this would be 5. X on the square root of 3. 5 on the square root of 3. Which means the whole side is 10 on the square root of 3. So our perimeter, 10, 20, 30 on the square root of 3. Our apothem is 5. So we have 1/2 times the perimeter times the apothem. We'll get 75 on the square root of 3. All right, let me go over these steps one last time in detail in case you haven't caught on yet. We need to find some information. The first piece of information we need to find is the length of one side so that we can get our perimeter. We also need our apothem. So if you want to take some notes, with the apothem, actually let's go ahead and just start with if we're given the radius. If we're given the radius, we then find our apothem. We then find the long leg of our 30, 60, 90 triangle. We then find the entire side. And then we find our perimeter. Now, if they give us the perimeter, we can use that to find the entire side, which we can then use to find the long leg, which we can then use to find the apothem. And we don't ever need to find the radius. We just, given the radius, we can find the apothem. They give you the side, well, you can use that to find the perimeter, and you can use that to find the long leg, which you can use the long leg to find the apothem. So, those are the two things that you need to make sure that you can find, and then you're going to use the formula 1/2 times perimeter times the apothem. Those are the important pieces of information for solving all of the areas for regular triangles. Good luck on your assignment. Have a good day.